Alex Poatan Pereira has enjoyed a lightning-fast start to his MMA career.
Oh!
That's what I'm talking about. That's it.
That's
Cannot stand in front of that man.
Can't play with that dude,
That
man.
power is different.
Do it all the clinch and the grab.
It's a different kind of power. You can't stand in front of that man. That dude's made out of mahogany.
His rise to the top is unlike any story you've heard before. Let's quickly dive into his background. Alexandro Pereira was born on July 7th, 1987, in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and stands at 6 foot 4 inches and weighs 205 pounds. He was raised in poverty and suffered extreme hardships from an early age. At the age of 12, he dropped out of middle school and began working in a tire shop to help provide for his family. Influenced by his colleagues, he began drinking and eventually became an alcoholic. But in 2009, he turned to kickboxing as a way to force himself out of his drinking addiction. So let's briefly go over his kickboxing career. He made his debut at the Glory 14 middleweight contender tournament in March of 2014. He defeated Dustin Jacoby by first-round knockout in the semifinals, and Sehak Parparian by majority decision in the final. He was also featured in Glory 17, but fell to eventual champion Artem Levin by unanimous decision in the quarterfinals. He then defeated Cesar Almeida at WGP Kickboxing 25, claiming his middleweight title. He defended his WGP title with a second-round KO of Macon Silva at WGP 40. In his next 5 fights, Pereira went on a 4-1 run, losing only to the pound-for-pound great Arthur Kashenko. During this run, Pereira achieved his most famous victories, defeating the future UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya twice. Pereira won the Glory middleweight title with a unanimous decision win against Simon Marcus at Glory 46. He then had back-to-back fights against Yusri Belgari. And at the Glory 55 for the middleweight title match, this happened. After 4 straight successful Glory middleweight title defenses, Pereira moved up to fight Donaghy Abena for the interim Glory light heavyweight championship at Glory 68. Pereira won the fight via knockout in the 3rd round, becoming the first double champion in Glory history. He then defended his middleweight title against Ertuğrul Bayrak at Glory Collision 2, moving back up weight classes. He challenged Artem Vakitov for the Glory light heavyweight title at Glory 77. A split decision victory made him the first fighter in Glory history to hold 2 belts at the same time. After being stripped of his middleweight title, Pereira rematched Artem Vakitov at Glory 78. He lost the match by a controversial majority decision. But now on to his MMA career. Transitioning from kickboxing, Pereira made his professional mixed martial arts debut in 2015 at Jungle Fight 82 against Kemal Otoni. He lost via submission. He continued at Jungle Fight, subsequently racking up 2 straight victories against Marcelo Cruz and Marcus Vinicius. In 2020, Pereira signed a contract with Legacy Fighting Alliance and made his debut against Thomas Powell. He won the fight via knockout in the 1st round. And on September 3rd, 2021, Pereira signed with the UFC. He made his promotional debut against Andreas Michaelides at UFC 268. He won the fight via TKO in round 2. Pereira then faced Bruno Silva at UFC Fight Night 203. He outstruck Silva for all 3 rounds and won the fight via unanimous decision. After knocking Strickland out in the 1st round at UFC 276, he earned his first headline event after just 3 fights. Pereira faced former foe Israel Adesanya for the UFC middleweight championship at UFC 281. The Brazilian came back in a bout he was losing on the scorecards to notch a TKO stoppage in the final round. A rematch for the UFC middleweight championship took place 5 months later at UFC 287. Adesanya turtled up like he was hurt, but then exploded out of his shell and drilled him with a right hand. Adesanya was on him with the exact same overhand right, putting him out cold. After moving back up to the light heavyweight division, he faced Jan Blachowicz at UFC 291. He won the back-and-forth fight via split decision. Now let's take a brief look at his contracts and earnings. Pereira is one of the UFC's highest-paid fighters, but it wasn't always like that. Pereira made $40,000 in base salary at his UFC debut against Andreas Michaelides inside Madison Square Garden. And since he won the fight, he got another $40,000 as a win bonus. His base salary more than doubled when he faced Strickland. He got $90,000 to show and another $90K as a win bonus. He also got another $60K as a performance bonus and $4,000 with a sponsorship deal, bringing his total fight payout to $244K. We should also mention he won a Crypto.com Fan Bonus of the Night award, which paid him $10,000 in Bitcoin. But that's nothing compared to his payday at UFC 281. His base salary when facing Adesanya was a staggering $300,000. And after winning, that number doubled. A $60,000 performance bonus and $32,000 in sponsorship deals brought his total fight earnings to $682,000. And he made even more at UFC 287. His base salary stayed the same, but he received a share of the 625,000 pay-per-view buys. Even though he lost the fight, he walked away with an extra $1,067,000 in his pocket. He made slightly less after defeating Jan Blachowicz at UFC 291, only bagging $815K. But now that we know how much he makes, how does he spend all his money? Shortly after UFC 287, he went and treated his coach, Glover Teixeira, to a brand new Harley-Davidson. And after UFC 291, he treated himself. Alex went out and got himself a brand new Lamborghini, which set him back $274,390. Earlier in 2023, he went out and bought the new Corvette Stingray with a price tag of $75K. He also purchased a Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi Edition. The custom watch has a hefty price tag of $40,000. Now let's talk about his personal life. Alex Pereira lives in Connecticut and trains out of Teixeira MMA and Fitness. He recently started training alongside Sean Strickland, who's even been helping him with his English. Pereira has indigenous ancestry from the Patasho tribe, and his nickname Poatan means stone hands in the Tupi language. He has a younger sister, Aline, who also competed for Glory. In 2022, she made her professional MMA debut at LFA 147, and she earned her first MMA victory at LFA 160. Pereira has 2 sons with his ex-wife, but is currently dating a TV personality in the kickboxing scene. Now for some moments that caused some waves in his career. Pereira faced some controversy after defeating Israel Adesanya for the 3rd time at UFC 281. A video of Pereira the day of the fight had him weighing 211.4 pounds, or 26.4 pounds more than the middleweight limit. Joe Rogan even had this to say:
It's a bullshit thing. It's basically sanctioned cheating.
While many disagree with the practice, it's technically within the rules of the UFC. Let us know in the comments section if you think Dana White should do something about it. Now, at this point, you must be excited about his career earnings. Pereira's paydays continue to rise, so we're sure his net worth will as well. Having said this, his total career earnings to date are $3,026,000, and he has a total net worth of $2 million. Let us know which fighters we should cover next. Thanks for watching.